All right, speaking of tough hombres, let's talk about our top 5 rookies from Week 13. I don't know if you looked at the rundown, Rick, but I'll give you how I graded them. We'll
I
go
never
from 1 to
rundown. Do you actually guys give a rundown?
oh, Debo didn't send it to you. He doesn't want to send it to you anymore. So we'll go 1 through 5, our top 5 players.
You and
Number
Debo's top 5?
no Jalen Carter this week. Yeah, Debo don't want to talk about the Eagles this week, Rick. 1 and 1A for me. And number 1 is Will Anderson, and 1A is CJ Stroud. Again, this draft class is stacked, and that's not even including Tank Dell, who, again, got hurt in that game. He's done for the regular season. And Juice Scruggs, who's back, the interior offensive lineman out of Debo's Penn State. But Will Anderson, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 1 pass breakup. That 1 PBU ended up being the tip pass that became an interception for Derek Stingley. Mike McGlinchey had himself a long day at right tackle for Denver. And we talked about Dallas Turner and his bull rush. Will Anderson's bull rush is no slouch. And he is twitched up. He's running stunts. He's winning through the A gap on these stunts. I would imagine Russ Wilson was tired of seeing Will Anderson by the end of the thing because he picked himself off the turf plenty. This guy, and I'll just go back to what our buddy Pete Prisco said, that he thought he was just going to be a good edge rusher. He feels like he has exceeded that already.
Yeah, and the one play, like I always try to fly. You can look at, I see all the plays you see, but I try to find something different. The one play that really stuck out to me the most, because I love watching guys that play with passion and play with energy and play with effort. There's no question Will Anderson does that. He rushed over McGlinchey, the right offensive tackle, got a pressure. Russell Wilson, scrambled upfield on the left side of the field, and he chased him down from behind. So he must have ran 60 yards that play. But that tells you the effort that this kid plays with, not only the athleticism and speed to run down Russell Wilson, who's not this, what he was maybe 6 years ago, but to come all the way around a formation, come all the way to the other side of the field and run him down from behind. That told me what kind of passion and player that Will Anderson is.
A couple of notes here. He could have had 4 sacks. I thought he had 2. And towards the end of the game, he had a bull rush against McGlinchey where he got so far underneath his pads, he literally launched McGlinchey, who probably weighs 320, into Russ's lap.
Yeah. No.
And, we talked about Will Anderson weighing 245-ish or whatever coming out. I don't know what he weighs now. He's more than that?
Yeah, he was 255. He's the same as Dallas.
Oh, okay. All right. Whatever he is, he plays much stronger than that. So he was my 1. Do you have any issue with me ranking him as a 1 as opposed to CJ Stroud 1A?
I would put Will. Yeah, I do have an issue with another player that should be up there, but we'll talk about him shortly.
What about this ranking, though? Will over CJ just by a hair?
Yes.
Not okay with that?
Not by a hair. I think Will was number 1 clear cut.
Oh, okay, great. And CJ said after the game how big that defense played.
And I am going to say this. If he continues on this path, the way he's playing and has this type of production down the stretch, I'm going to make him his favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I like it. Devin Witherspoon's had a good season, but the Seahawks are hit some struggles recently, so I don't hate that. By the way, DJ Turner is another guy we haven't talked yet about who almost made this list, the Michigan cornerback who ran in the 4.2s. He's having a great season for Cincinnati.
Yep. Yeah.
Big game.
He played big last night.
Big game on Monday night. I mean, he was flying around like he was Will Anderson out there coming downhill. All right. Number 3. I'm guessing this is where you draw the line because it can't be number 4 on this list, knowing you. Sam LaPorta, 9 catches, 140 yards, touchdown against New Orleans. They were up 400-0 in the first half, and then they sort of fell asleep and held on to win at the end there. They lined him up everywhere, which they've been doing the whole time. 9 targets, 9 catches. That's how efficient Sam LaPorta is. What else is there to say about Sam LaPorta? Should have been a first-round pick, and it just goes to show that it's sometimes hard to evaluate guys who play at Iowa because that Iowa offense isn't one that makes it easy to evaluate pass catchers. Sam LaPorta is awesome.
Okay, let me give you some why I think he was 1 or 1B. Okay. Because on 3rd and 6, that was a 12-yard touchdown. On 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, he caught a flat route to convert a first down. On 3rd and 5, he had an in route, beat man coverage, first down. Late in the game, 3rd and 7 to keep the clock moving, beat man coverage, cut an in route, first down. this kid, you look at the stats, but you look at when are those stats happening. And 4 times in critical situations in the game, he came up with big plays. So to me, not only is he having a productive year, but golf.
I thought you were changing subjects.
Yeah, Jared Goff has an unbelievable trust in this kid, and the coaching staff do, because they're calling this kid's number, and you think it would be St. Brown or somebody like that. But when they need to convert a third down, and especially in the critical in that late catch in the game that converted to 3rd and 7, not that they weren't going to win the game, but that sure helped them solidify the win. So when he makes those type of catches in the critical situations during a game, to me, that's why I even moved him up higher, because of that. Not because of just the stats. And he gives unbelievable effort as a blocker.
Yeah. No, you're not getting much pushback from me. He had a great game. He's had a great season. And,
But do you agree with me that you got to look at the production, but you look at, are they in critical situations?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean,
difference maker to me.
Yeah. And I mean, so who are you putting him ahead of, Will or CJ?
Him and Will are right up there. CJ's behind them.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what you feel about this one. Number 4, Puka Nacua, 4 catches, 105 yards, 2 rushes for 34 yards. Had a run play, 2 end arounds. Another end around went for 45, but they called it back because of holding. I don't know why this guy runs a 4.2 when he ran a 4.55 officially, or whatever he ran.
Right down the middle of the field on that seam route. He just ran through the secondary. And this is a good learning experience, is that if a guy doesn't run fast, but he plays fast, there's 2 different times. And I was wrong, but this kid plays a lot faster than he ran.
And that play call you're talking about was late in the first quarter, made it 10-7 Rams, 70 yards, dead sprint. No one could catch him. And it looked like, so Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator, who's done a great job there. On 3rd downs, they get funky, and a lot of times they like to run that inverted cover 2. So the outside corners sort of move inside.
Yeah.
They were there too late. And once they got there late, Puka Spielman's off. Like, you're not catching them.
No. And you got to give credit where credit's due. And the 7 route he made, the little corner route where he adjusted behind them to went up and get the ball. He is a very good, much better football player than maybe an athletic test guy in the pre-draft process. So this is a prime example of making sure that you don't put too much weight into the you have to look at it, but this guy is an exception to the rule as far as being a better football player than he is an athlete.
Did you guys have any statistical measure for figuring that stuff out, or you just had to eyeball it?
You go off your experience and what you're seeing.
Because I know you got the guys,
and he's an exception to the rule, because
100%.
Yeah. So when you're asking yourself in that draft room, so when I'm sitting in the corner and I say, Mr. Wilson, do you think this guy is an exception to the rule? Because you can't have 53 exceptions to the rule on your roster. You're not going to win a game.
Yeah.
But if there are specific guys that the area scout is really dead set and really believes in this kid, that's when you kind of gotta listen, and especially the more you evaluate, the more you do. And a guy like a Puka, if we missed on him, we would be back studying his tape from BYU. Why didn't we see what we're seeing now in the NFL? Or we would have our analytics look at it. What are we missing in the analytics side of it? Was it something in the testing, psychological testing? Was it something in a physical testing? What was it? Was it the medical? Were we too hard on him on the medical because he had durability concerns coming out? What did we miss?
Yeah. Because when you go back to the Senior Bowl, while we're sitting there watching the wide receivers, he was there, but he was another guy. He felt like sort of a Andrew Shebus, who was drafted by the Bengals out of Princeton. Just a good athlete that had some upside. We'll see. A big receiver. Rashid Rice was there. Dontavius Wicks was there.
But that's why you go back and say, okay, what did we miss?
Yeah.
Was it something in the testing? Was it something in the intelligence? Was it the mental quickness? Whatever it was, you really go back and hash. Or because this guy is an exception to probably the rule on being a better football, just a really good football player and don't get so tied up in the Olympics that sometimes we get tied up in.
I'm going to chalk it up to Nacua dogging it for the last 4 years and then finally turning it on once he got drafted by the Rams. That can be the only explanation because he's a first round talent, man. It's crazy. All right, number 5 on the list, Devon Achane. He's back against the Commanders, a team that really had no answers, to the point that Mike White, the backup quarterback, was playing for most of the fourth quarter. 17 rushes for Devon, 73 rushing yards, had 2 touchdowns, shortest touchdowns near the goal line, 3 receptions for 30 yards. We talk about it all the time when we talk about Achane. He runs between the tackles. He runs hard between the tackles. He gets yard between the tackles, and then he has that juice to get outside, and we saw that. And in that Miami offense, it even amplifies the things that he does well because they're so good.
Even in a probably not ideal weather conditions.
Right.
But he looked like he was healthy again. And I won't call him a mud game, but it was, like I said, it was wet, rainy, cold, whatever it was. He didn't bounce everything to the outside. And it's the same thing we saw in college, is that he runs for a small back. He runs with a lot more power than you think he runs. And he's always going forward on contact. And he's not afraid to get hit. In fact, sometimes some of those runs, I thought he was the hammer rather than the nail.
Absolutely.
And he caught the ball well. He's another really good football player.
Really good football player. Trademark Rick Spielman. All right.